Oh, just yeah, okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Modern Day Podcast. You didn't ask for it, but we're bringing it to you anyway. Today's episode was brought to you by Tesla. No, that's not true. It wasn't brought to you by Tesla. Today's episode was brought to you by Skillshare. You can use my link, skl.sh/moderndayjames, to get 2 free months when you sign up for Skillshare. It's a really great resource, and I'm not just saying that because they're paying me. I promise. It's a really good resource. That it might be Ahmed's head that you see behind that Skillshare logo. And if you're listening, you just have to picture it in your imagination. It's also brought to you by Jeff Bezos and his evil Amazon company, Audible. If you want to, oh man, it's blocking my face. If you want to listen to some audiobooks, maybe inspire yourself a bit more, consider signing up on Audible with audibletrial.com/moderndayjames. It's also brought to you by me and my Gumroad videos. Head over to gumroad.com/moderndayjames to get some premium tutorials and help afford my coffee addiction. And also check out Ahmed's videos as well. They're great. And also brought to you by the Life Channel, or the lifeblood of the channel, Patreon, my patron supporters. Head over to patreon.com/moderndayjames for all your Modern Day James goodness. On that note, let me welcome my 2 guests that are awesome. I have Ahmed Aldoori and Steven Zapata. Hello, guys.
Hi there.
Hey.
Thanks so much.
Well done, James.
Yeah, that was
good.
quite an intro.
Very good copywriting.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, Val. I see you typing there. I know.
Yeah. I'm really excited that you're here. It's awesome that you're in New York. And I'm really excited to meet you. I guess it's the first time meeting in person.
Yes.
Yeah. So for those who might not know, which I don't know why they wouldn't, but why don't you give a quick introduction to yourself?
Well, God, I forgot about. Well,
you have to introduce yourself. Some people don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I am also a YouTuber. I do art stuff, but before that, I worked professionally for a little bit as a concept artist. Various things like video games, movies, theme parks. Most notably, Guild Wars 2 is the most recent thing. Before that, went to Art Center, graduated with what was it? What was our program called?
Entertainment design.
That's the one.
BS.
It was a Bachelor's of Science, sure. Went back to teach there for a bit, but then just did my my thing because I didn't want to work for anyone.
Yep.
Did a YouTube channel, and now I just do Patreon. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And what about you, my friend?
And I'm Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist,
Just gonna move
freelance
that closer to you.
illustrator.
Sorry
All
about
good?
that.
Is this how close I should be?
That is how close you should be.
All right,
I can hear myself.
I'll be sure to maintain that. All good.
I'm sorry, you're good.
Thanks,
All right.
Val.
I'm Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, freelance illustrator, and unmedicated psychotic most of the time. I have to say. Last game that I worked on was Elder Scrolls Online. Did
Awesome.
that for a year and a half last year at some point, and the year before that.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Thank
seriously.
You, thank you.
And congratulations are in order.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I
This
was
guy just got married.
Thank you. I'll try to display to the entire hypothetical room that I just got. Yes. I married the woman I love. That was my
Aw.
masterpiece. So now I can just make art for its own sake. So-
Awesome. And as I was telling you before, Ahmed showed me your work for the first time, and my mind was blown. I looked at it. I had one of those feelings where you ever see an artist and you're like, I don't know how somebody does that. And you instantly get that feeling of regret, like, oh man, what am I doing wrong?
Oh, dude.
I had one of those moments and it was awesome.
That's like both very flattering and you can do it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
know?
I'm trying.
Yeah. You will. You're
Don't
good.
feed his ego, though. He's.
I shouldn't.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, I should
Please
try
feed
to
it.
knock
Please
him down
feed
a
it.
few pegs.
Somebody should feed it. No one's
Yo,
feeding it.
just a quick apology. We just had like pizza, New York
Okay,
pizza.
yeah.
So it's a bit of a food coma.
That-
But
no.
we're on the tail end of it. It was delicious.
Yeah.
I'm hyped. I'm ready to go.
The drive here was a bit hectic, so that was fun.
Oh,
Woke
yeah.
us up. Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys drove.
It seemed like it was easier than the.
It was
subway.
shorter than the subway.
Yeah.
It was
Well, New York pizza, obviously superior to any other place of pizza. Even Italy, I've been there before, and the pizza not nearly as good.
there is no substitute.
No, there is no
And
substitute.
Don't accept one.
So, Ahmed, let's take it back. Or I'm going to go with both of you, but I want to take it back. How did you get started in art, and what was your introduction to it?
Oh well, I mean, just like growing up, there was always the obsession with drawing comics, Spider-Man, Batman, whatever. And like any kid who is enjoying it, I did it a lot, and everybody around me was like, "Oh, you're the artist. You're so good at it," and that reinforced like the whole, "Yeah, that's what I do. This is me." And so, I guess the mileage got me pretty far. But then I took it more seriously in like high school when I
Okay.
saw like all the online stuff, Craig Mullins, concept art kind of industry. But I would always like be pretty attentive. That's the word, right? To like what's possible. So I was always curious, like how
Yeah.
do you do that? How do you do perspective? How does the light work? And I was obsessed. And basically, I know a lot of people like want to go to art school because they want to get the dream job. I wanted to go because I wanted to just know how to do the thing. And so
Yeah.
I first went to computer science engineering.
Okay.
That was a miserable, depressing, awful decision. But I would just skip class and then go to my apartment and just draw. So I ended up going to a couple different schools, community college for life drawing, all the while wanting to go to art center, just not believing that it would be possible. And two schools after that, because I went to Columbus College of Art and Design for about 2 semesters for the foundations thing, and applied to art center, and then the rest was history. But it was a lot of just being excited about comic books, movies, Star Wars,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah. I think one of the main things that I see with a lot of successful artists, and something that I kind of complain about with some of my students, is that a lot of times they're looking to get a job more than just doing art because it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think what I see with your work specifically is you just go and you just have so much fun doing it. I think that's really the most important part. You know, the job will come secondary to that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was concept art your main focus? Did you think that you were going to work in concept art, or is that just something that happened?
I think when I got accepted to Art Center with like the whole scholarship deal thing, I knew at that point, that was the pivot in my life where it's like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do and it's something I could tell the world about.
Yeah.
Because before I didn't have anything certain or solid about like, hey, this is my future. This is what I'll do for a living. But at that point, it was like, now I get to learn the stuff I've always wanted to know how to do.
Yeah.
I didn't really care too much about like what it would be and where, but I knew because of what we learned, at the school, it was going to be concept art for a while.
Okay.
But having done that, having worked at various places doing concept art, I realized that's not really my thing. I could do it, and if I want to make a project with world building, I could do that, but I enjoy just drawing, sketching, illustrating.
Yeah.
For my own thing. Yeah.
So is that your decision recently to kind of change things up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like going rogue and declining a lot of possible opportunities.
Yeah.
Selling everything and just leaving LA opened up the whole world to me. Sure, I'm making a lot less now, but now I have the space to really figure out what that thing is. But I definitely just want to like do my own art.
Yeah.
Get together with people who are awesome and just make things, collaborate. Not you though. I don't like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you start with
I wouldn't collaborate with him. It's dangerous.
It's
not a good
he's
idea.
For your ego. It's dangerous.
Yeah. Your leg's touching mine. Stop it.
It does seem like you know everybody in the art community, so it seems like you have a free place to stay wherever you go.
It happens.
Is that the secret to the Ahmed's guide to traveling around the world?
Well, at your subscriber level, you could do the same thing. Well, the thing is like,
I have to leave my house first. That's the big thing.
Yeah,
That
dude,
would be required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because wherever I went, whether it was Thailand, Singapore, Japan, across the states, wherever, I just post on Instagram, usually 2 or 3 days before, because I don't want a huge group, so I keep a short notice. And yeah, we'll do meetups, get to know people. We just did one yesterday in New York. That was pretty cool. Got to meet some fun people. You got to meet them, and now you can make friends with them.
And I will.
They're in your area.
I certainly will.
But yeah, that's pretty much
Awesome. Now I want to shift gears to you. Now, how did you get started in art?
It's actually one of my earliest memories, and it's also one of my sister's most vivid memories. I was just a little kid, and my sister, like really little, and my sister came over to me. She had a piece of paper, and she had like a pencil or crayon. She said, "Do you want to see how to draw a cat?" And I, as a child, said, "Yes, sister, I want to see how to draw a cat." And my sister drew a cat in front of me that was like a circle, triangle for ears, stick figure body, tail, and then the whiskers. She said, "That's how you draw a cat." And I said, "Again." And
That's got to be your logo, by the way.
Yeah.
I made her do it again, and then she was like, "All right, you got it." And I was like, "No, again."
Oh my
Again.
God.
I think I made her do it like 5 or 6 times, and then she was like, "You got it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I drew the cat the way she had taught me. And when I look back on that now, I realize that what that meant was I loved the magic trick of drawing, like that it wasn't just the end result. It wasn't just the drawn. It was the drawing. It was the act of doing the drawing. And that's what I've always loved.
That's awesome, because I feel like so many times, myself included, you're always looking for that finished product.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it too, even with social media and YouTube and whatnot. It's like, okay, now I finished it, I can post it, and you get that satisfaction. But finding satisfaction in the actual performance of it is crucial, I think.
That's it, yeah. So that set me on my path, and then I always knew I loved drawing then. And then it went like through the avenues that I think happens to a lot of us, right? I loved DBZ, I loved Dragon Ball Z. So I wound up drawing a lot of Goku, a lot of Vegeta, and then that made me fall in love with anatomy, even though the anatomy in that show is like...
Is awesome. That's what you're about to say, right?
Yes, let's use the word awesome. Yes, it definitely stands out, let's say. So then I drew a lot of that, drew a lot of stuff from video games, love video games. And then also that was getting mixed with the fact that I was in New York for my childhood, so I was at the Met often.
Okay, yeah.
So I was seeing like all the old master stuff, right? So then that was all mixing in with these more contemporary influences that I was taking in, anime, video games. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so at that time in New York, once I was like in high school and stuff like that, if you told someone that what I love is drawing and they were like, "You want to be a graphic designer?" I was like, no, not logos. Like the act of doing it, and I like figures and stuff like that. The only answer they could give you for that was, "So you want to be a comic book artist?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is still a valid thing.
Totally valid.
Yeah.
Just
Emily.
And that is what I went for in the beginning. Like in the first half of high school and stuff like that, I was like, I want to be a comic book artist. I want to be a comic book artist. And then I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters.
Okay.
And if you've ever stuck around for the credits of Revenge of the Sith, the second credit or the third credit in that movie is Ryan Church, the concept artist.
Oh, okay.
And I got up in the theater and I was like, who the hell is that? And why is he right after the director?
The one person in the theater standing up, pointing at the screen angrily.
It stuck in my mind. And good thing he has an easy to remember name. I went home immediately, Googled him, found out what he did. Didn't know you could do that. Found out where he went to school. Didn't know that was a place. And then I said, I'm going to Art Center.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I just like said, that's the only place I'm going. I'm just going to put everything I can into that. And then that was its own whole arc. But then we both wound up at Art Center at the same time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Unfortunately.
You said unfortunate.
We've always been
Oh,
enemies.
so why is it unfortunate?
It's like we pretend to be friends on the surface because
Okay.
we when we function as like whatever a collaborative unit, we're very effective. We get things done.
Sure.
We make really cool things. And we're like, the payoff is we have to be around each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the
And
price we pay.
It's
okay.
it's a sacrifice. It's a
Yeah.
compromise. I can't stand the way he looks, the way he speaks, the way he
Same.
nods.
We're
Yeah.
exact opposites.
Yeah.
No, that's frustrating. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could understand why you would be frustrated having to deal with him for
Yeah.
so long.
Yeah. I mean, look at his shoes. They're way better than mine.
I mean, there's a table in the way, but
No, yeah.
oh no, I can see those are some fancy shoes.
These are my wedding shoes. I got married in
Wow.
these.
Like 3 days ago.
That's
Wow.
right.
GG.
Yeah. I scuffed them dancing, so I'm like, now they're just regular shoes. Now I can just wear them whenever
Well,
I
now
want.
they have a history.
Yeah.
Yes, they're shoes with
Scar.
history.
All right, so you ended up at Art Center with Ahmed, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
And were you majoring in entertainment design? Was it okay? Cool.
Mhm. We went in. What was our starting year? 2009.
2009.
Yeah. We
Oh,
went in at the same
We're
time.
old people.
Yeah, we're getting old. But yeah, we went in through the same cohort. We did almost all of our classes together, huh? I
Wow.
think
Wait,
so.
can I ask? So you say 2009 is old for college. I went to college in 2009. How old are you guys?
I'm 28.
31.
Oh, okay. I'm 26. I'm going on
Yeah,
27.
you're
All
a
right.
little baby.
Baby,
Yeah.
man.
All
Live your
right.
whole life ahead
I
of you.
have my whole life
Man.
ahead of me.
Come on.
I
Okay.
have grandchildren. All
Oh
right.
wow, you guys are
Hi,
so
Pablo.
old.
I see you.
You guys are irrelevant now, right? Because you're old.
Yeah,
Is that
we
how
don't
it
know
works
what
on
a
YouTube.
meme is.
No.
Yeah, I've heard of those
Meme.
memes. I think it's
Memes.
memes.
I used to call them memes at first, but I didn't know. All right, so
My Discord's all memes. Okay, go
Oh my
ahead.
God. So going from Art Center, how did you, Ahmed? How did you get your first, or what was the transition there to a professional?
Well, we were pretty lucky because, especially at the time, with the market wasn't as saturated, which I think it's still not too bad.
Mhm.
At the time, just being at Art Center, the program was still small. A lot of our teachers were working professionals, and so the very first summer after the semester, I started working with Scott Robertson.
Oh, okay.
On like just small gigs here and there. From there, I worked with Dylan Cole because Dylan Cole called up Scott. He's like, "Hey, do you know anybody that could do this pitch thing for me?" Because he does backgrounds and matte paintings, and he needed a character guy. So he's like, "Well, I got someone right here, Ahmed. Do you know Dylan Cole?" I was like, "Yes." And so from there, I worked with Dylan Cole a little bit more, and then my friend worked at a place, and then he's like, "Hey, we got this big project. It's a theme park place called Thinkwell, and we need an extra hand. Are you free this weekend?" And I'm like, sure, why not? The pay was ridiculous. I'm like, don't tell them I'm a student. And like, yeah, I won't. And they didn't. They thought I was already working professional because A, I did the work, and B, I didn't tell them I was a student. So
You kept your mouth shut.
yeah.
Good.
And so they paid me like pro prices. And
What you mean to say was that your work was really good,
okay,
and they
whatever,
saw
yeah.
it.
You can
and-
summarize it to that.
Yeah.
And so one thing just kept leading to another, and it was at the point where, at the beginning it was like, I'll take anything. I just want to do the thing, and I want to make like some money to buy some burgers. And fast forward to after Art Center, like it's like you have to start saying no to these projects, and some some projects, especially out in LA, like for example, theme park industry and the movie industry and video games, certain ones pay more, especially theme parks, because most people don't want to do that. And I don't
know why. That sounds awesome.
Well,
It's fun.
No?
not for
Okay.
me.
Polar opposites.
We both worked at the same place.
Okay.
But like, it's just I remember they offered me like an art director position, and I'm like, it was on the table, and I hadn't gotten a job elsewhere yet, but I was making a portfolio right after I graduated Art Center for Disney Animation, because I was like, that looks cool. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
While I was doing that, I got an email from ArenaNet in Seattle, and they're like, "Hey, we need a concept artist. Are you available?" I'm like, "You guys are ArenaNet. Jamie Jones went there, Kekai Kotaki, all these big names under Daniel Dochu." I'm like, and the pay was less than half of what I'd be making at the other place. So I'm like, I learned so much. I'll do it. Right?
Yeah.
I remember I asked you what you thought, and you're like, "Why aren't you excited?" I'm like, I don't know.
I always have to be the guy to tell Med, dude, why aren't you excited right now? You should be excited.
That's something that happens though, where you sort of like build up something, or you get something in your head and you accomplish what it is you were looking to accomplish, and then you're there and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
It just immediately loses its significance. Yeah.
Because you liked the goal. Yeah. You liked having the goal.
Exactly. And then it becomes the next goal. But go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And then so I worked at ArenaNet on Guild Wars 2 for a bit, doing characters, costumes, weapons, a couple loading screen environments. But that's actually when I started the YouTube channel. So
okay,
I'd be at work and I had a routine. I would go to work and can't wait to get home to do my YouTube thing. So on the weekends I'd have a video every week. Now I do it once every few years or so. But we just recorded a podcast yesterday, so that'll be up next. And then that's kind of the history of Ahmed Aldoori.
Cool. And now with the YouTube channel, what was your motivation for that? Was that
okay? So when I was on my way to work, it was early morning, and I had just a list of audiobooks. One of those books was The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. You familiar with it?
I am, because he kept advertising, especially when I started up the YouTube channel. I just had about 1,000 Grant Cardone advertisements on my page. I didn't like him for that reason, but I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I'm sure he's a terrible guy.
Well, it sounds like he wrote a good book at least.
Yeah.
He knows who he is as a guy.
The 10X Rule, basically the theme of that is that whatever your goal is, whatever you think it takes to succeed at the goal, you actually have to do 10 times the amount of work to really succeed.
Okay.
So I'm like listening to this guy, and the way he reads his audiobook, he sounds like a drill sergeant. Like he's like, if you're not doing this, blah, 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 get on it. And I'm like, whoa, I got to make a channel. And it worked out for me, I guess. So that was my initial motivation, because I didn't want to work for studios forever. I wanted to be independent. And basically my goal was to be financially stable. So initially it was to get followers, to have a platform to make income. And now that I'm sort of there, I no longer have the same drive. So now I'm at a place where I'm looking for a purpose and reason to make content. And that's why I left, and I'm traveling, and I'm trying to answer those questions for myself. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think part of that motivation of wanting to be, being independent, I experience it here. It's it's freeing to be able to kind of go down whatever rabbit hole your creative mind wants you to go down. But do you ever fall into that, what I have a sort of pitfall of interest, where you might be interested in one thing one day and then another thing the other day, and you keep jumping around?
God. Yeah, it's kind of a curse, because like in the nature of somebody who's creative, there's no such thing as this is it, this is what you're doing, this is the lever you're gonna pull every 5 minutes. Like, you'd kill yourself on the inside, at least. It just, the novelty of answering a new problem, being excited about a new prospect or frontier, is the reason you're a creative person. And so jumping between different projects and ideas and wanting to reinvent things and like look at it from a different perspective, that's just our curse, but also a blessing.
Yeah, it is both a curse and a blessing, for sure. Hence the guitars in the background. I'm working on music while I'm working on the channel. And
I think that's great.
Thank you. I'm trying. It's not.
Yeah, you got like a huge amount of followers now. So
Thank you.
I think it's a great thing as an artist to try to integrate all your interests. So I think it's awesome that you're doing the music, everything, and you're awesome.
Oh,
like, I've seen your shred videos, dude. Like, yes.
I don't know how I make money in art and not music. It doesn't make any sense to me, but
you're putting it out there. You will.
I think I'm personally in this situation where I'm like, well, now I have a career in art. Do I spend a lot of time making music? And I'm always debating. So my current goal is to save up enough money that I can just take a year off of everything art related and then just go full music for a little bit.
By the way,
this
you guys
camera,
can see with the cameras. Is that okay?
We're on this camera right now.
Hey, look at this setup. It's legit. I have I have
one
one desk, one microphone, and I'm just so ashamed that. Yeah, and like he's got the little sound thingy.
I don't know if we can see it. Oh no, you can see it. The sound panels on the back.
Yeah.
It doesn't just look real; it is real.
Yeah,
this is
a real podcast. The stuff I do is just kind of like and he has a whiteboard.
The whiteboard, it has some Goodwill Hunting mathematics on the back because my brother is a mathematician. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
someone asked a question about imposter syndrome. We'll get back to that.
Okay, we will. All right, Steve, I want to ask you some questions. Now, your transition from Art Center, how did that happen? How did you receive your first professional gig?
All right, so I'm in school with people like Med, and I'm looking at people like Med, and I'm like, oh, look at Med. He's getting job offers from Scott Robertson, Dylan Cole, and other people may look at that and be like, Med. And I looked at that and I was like, this is a good guy to have around. So
you see why I don't like him.
I just utterly inserted myself into his life. I was like, hey, what's up? We're friends now.
Oh, dude, somebody likes me. Hooray.
I'm a conniving bastard. Let's get lunch, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I mean, hey, I vindicated it. I lived with you. We're buddies.
We were roommates.
We're Okay, cool. Hidden enemies. So, Med was always really, really good at drawing. He always had the talent. Me? No. I was terrible.
He was pretty bad.
I was terrible.
Really? I was wondering how you even got in the program.
Yeah, me too.
You were that guy.
Wait, you're not kidding?
I was genuinely like that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was really, really bad. So imagine my surprise when one day Ahmed comes up to me. I think we were downstairs in one of the life drawing rooms. I don't remember
fourth term or something. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. He comes up to me and he's like, hey, Steven, I had just given a presentation, and because I'm really bad at art, when I do a presentation, I exaggerate to cover my ass.
I got to interrupt there. Not just any presentation, a performance.
Oh.
He comes from a theater background from here in New York, so he's like, he's got the chops.
And a high school theater background.
Okay.
Please. What you did was a little bit beyond that.
A little bit of falsetto?
Well, sometimes.
There's a lot of things going on.
But like, we're all just a bunch of introverted artists with our sketchbooks, and he goes up there completely unexpected and, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about this blah 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 and my design. So good that the teacher was like, hold on a second. He went to get the department chair. He said, okay, do it again.
And I had to do it again.
That's really funny.
Go ahead.
So Med comes up to me after class one day and he goes, Steven, I want you to teach me how to talk like that. And I immediately turned on Med and I was like, okay, as long as you teach me how to draw like that.
Yeah.
And then that sort of began our collaborative friendship. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
We spent a lot of time together, my place, his place, and it was just like Med critiquing me, showing me demos, and then me teaching Ahmed how to present, how to create oratorical structures, how to use his diction, how to speak up.
You must have really hated talking to people back then.
I was super nervous and
tell him about the Ohio mumble.
Oh my God. So I had just moved to California
Okay.
from Ohio. I grew up in Ohio, Strongsville, Ohio. And, I just got this new opportunity to go to Art Center. I'm like, can't wait, California. It's a dream place. And I get there, and I was living with Anis Naeem at the time. Because we had, we were friends from some forum. Anyway, and I didn't realize until like 1 or 2 months in that people generally couldn't understand what I was saying.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah.
Because like apparently we would slur and mumble our words a lot from where I'm from. And so like the example I usually give, and it's the same example I've given for years now. It's like if I said, it doesn't matter, just do whatever you want, you could understand it. But if I said it to my brother in this way, he'd understand it. I'd say, do whatever you want.
That's actually how
Like,
he used to
wait,
talk.
seriously?
Like I talk
That's
like I
actually
just
how Med used to
assumed
talk.
it was easier and quicker. So I'm like, why should I say what I'm saying? It's like, why don't you understand what I'm saying?
He's come a long way.
Yeah.
He's
And
come
so
a long way.
I'm like, when someone told me, I'm like, really? Oh my God. And so I started carefully enunciating,
Yeah.
especially because a lot of our classmates were foreign, like from Japan, Korea, China. And so like when I talked to them, I would, slow it down a bit because I knew as a foreigner, like I know what it's like to not be able to understand. And so from that, I developed careful speech. And then from him, I learned how to weave rhetoric out of thin air, etc.
Okay.
as he taught me. So yeah.
There's definitely there's so much to that. One, you wouldn't know now that you had that problem because
Yeah.
when I listen to your videos, very relaxing.
It's his fault.
Yeah.
I take full credit for Med's YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
You should.
Yeah.
But there is a real skill to that. And I think, especially as introverted artists, I feel like that's so important to learn how to dictate, learn how to do that performance. Now, going into your theater background, is that part of why I feels like there's some sort of commonality between you looking at your sister drawing and seeing that performance
Yes.
to the way that you dictate.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That once I started realizing that it was the performative aspect that really fascinated me. Once I saw that acting was a thing and that you could actually pretend to be someone else or something else that was happening. That's always how I thought of it.
Yeah.
It's like that hooked me in. So yeah, all through high school, I did like every theater show, all 4 years of high school. I think I really love that.
Awesome.
To add to that, someone did just ask a related question from Divination.
Yeah, sorry, I can't really see
No,
the
it's
chat.
fine.
It's just far enough.
Steven, please give us some tips on public speaking and being confident. I love that energy you got, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That's really kind.
Please do.
From Debonation. The basic, the ground floor, and there's a lot of really good resources out there, is always try to remind yourself right before you go out and do your presentation that everyone wants to see a good presentation.
Yeah.
Like no one is there to judge you. They're not going into this environment like I can't wait to sit down and judge people.
Yep.
They want you to put yourself out there and put them at ease.
Yeah.
So you're actually doing the whole room a favor if you kind of just like shake it off, say, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to do my best for you guys. And then just like go for it. Like,
It is actually pretty stressful if you watch a really uncomfortable speaker speaking in
yes,
public.
that makes
You want it
worse.
to end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's often good to just open up with something that'll open you up, something that'll dispel the tension a bit, and then just go for it. That's what people want. Yeah, exactly like you said. An uncomfortable speaker only makes the audience uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't new to me. I'm an actor myself. If you have seen some of my YouTube
That
videos.
was- have you seen? Oh my god! Okay.
Wait, have you seen the one on the subway?
Subway. The only one I've seen recently is the boardroom of the clones.
Okay.
Of you. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I hired some actors. It was great. But we did do a performance on the subway where olden day James, who's a time traveling time lord from the past, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Olden day James came. He was here in the present time period. An imposter was there, and we had a fight scene on the subway, the New York City subway. That's awesome. And it involved a lot of screaming and a lot of yelling, and it was.
You can get away with that around here.
Yeah, you can. What I love about
they just won't look at you. Let me look at you. Okay.
what I loved about it though is everybody in New York was just like, yeah, whatever. It's Tuesday. That's just how it is.
Yep. They see worse every day.
Yeah, they're
You
just
can't
like
shock them.
Yeah. So, how do you feel that do you feel that your acting experience has helped you in art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen it myself. It's
pretty
crazy.
directly. Like, yeah, I'm not I'm not like exaggerating it or making a joke out of it. I was really bad at drawing, even though I loved it.
You're great now, by the way.
Then,
It's amazing. It's ridiculous.
but because I got a lot of help from someone like Med and
Yeah.
my teachers who didn't give up on me because they saw this other thing that I could do, which was present. But in like an art school setting or in like an art studio setting, what presenting means, it's not just presenting. What you're doing when you're presenting is you are convincing the room that you are right about
Yeah.
what you did. That's the actual skill that you're practicing. And if you can execute that over and over and over again, you have value. You
Yeah.
have a lot of value. So then for me, like by the time I was leaving Art Center, like after 4 years, my skills were like just catching up, right?
Okay.
After 4 years. But then Med was already at Thinkwell, and then they got crunched with another big project. So now he had someone who he knew could convince people that what he was doing was the
Okay.
right thing, and whose skills who had just come up. So Med gave me my first job.
Oh,
He gave me
wow.
my first recommendation.
That's really awesome.
Thinkwell gave me my first job. Med gave me my first recommendation.
Damn.
So it's pretty direct. It's all pretty directly linked.
Yeah, that's really cool. And no acting. You don't do any acting today?
Well,
We're gonna
unless
hit
you
that.
count this.
Well,
you know?
all right. Well, I'm trying to get him to do a YouTube channel
Yeah, you should.
because the world needs to hear more about his life. It's crazy.
Potentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can talk about it now. I mean,
Yeah, I mean symbols and whatnot. And
Well, I
musical
don't.
instruments.
It's not like I've opened it or anything. I don't. This wouldn't be a great time to plug because there's nothing there.
I
right?
know, but you're
I'm
gonna.
thinking about. Yeah, I've got this YouTube guy crashing on my couch for the past few days. So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I was thinking of starting a YouTube channel. But yeah, if I did open a YouTube channel, I've always had ideas for doing videos explaining like symbols and the tools of symbology in art.
that would be really cool.
Yeah, because
And
I think that's something that's lacking a little bit.
I can attest that it's lacking, especially in my art, which is the least emotional, least symbolic thing possible. It's we need some sort of resource for making. I guess making art have meaning.
Yeah, I would
And-
love to provide some sort of channel that kind of gives people.
Yeah.
a little
That's really important. Can I cut you off?
bit-
Cut him off.
Quick
Please.
shout out to Elsie, Pat, Fireseal, Emily, Pablo. Love you guys. All right, go ahead.
I love them too.
Yeah, to finish my thought, just symbols are great. I love symbols. I also love symbology. It's not a very narrow field. It's actually a very broad field. So the videos on my channel, I would imagine them as like a little bit of literary analysis. Like,
Yeah.
here's the Iliad. This is what happens in it. But here is the deep symbology of the Iliad and what it means for your life.
Yeah.
And then because you're a person before you're an artist, that applies to your life. And then I'll talk about transferring that into your art.
Boring.
Sounds a little boring.
Needs more
when I say
anime.
it.
Yeah,
I'll see what I can do.
kidding.
Maybe
It'll be
watch a
great.
few
It'll be
anime.
great.
I think it needs to have more boobs, and then it'll be fine.
I'll try to find a way to. There's plenty of boobs in the Iliad, so
So
Oh, hey, Chad, that's my student.
you have a Chad?
I have a Chad.
you have a Chad.
That's awesome.
He's got Chad genetics.
That's amazing.
So something that I find to be really important in art that I wish more people did in general is understanding how important it is to just sort of go and not have any resources and just go for it and
Oh,
just
yeah.
dive in head first.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause like I was just telling you guys, I'm trying to animate, and one of the things that I did, I've done a ton of shitty animations, and I've just kind of dove headfirst, animating things from reference and dancers and whatnot, and maybe all my frames are fucked up. But I found that just kind of going and doing it has provided a lot of mileage that maybe I wouldn't have gotten if I just sat and read a book about it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't no one ever just starts on a path and is good on the first step.
Yeah.
Like you got to stumble, you got to mess up and learn from so many different sources. Like the thing is with our platforms that we have and with YouTube and the connections that you can make, a lot of people developed a dependency on,
Yeah.
if I don't know how to do something, I have to ask and make sure that I get the certain answer first.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas for us, like growing up, I didn't have any resources for learning how to paint. It was just like my grandma did oil paints, but it's like a different kind of thing. And I remember seeing this cover, and I've talked about this before, of a PlayStation magazine, and it was beautifully colored. And I was like, I want to learn how to do this. So I want to learn how to do this. Sounds a bit of the Ohio. So I go to the basement. I'm like rummaging through like this box. I'm like, I know there's paints here somewhere. And I got my grandma's like oil paints. I was like, maybe this will work. And I look at the cover. I'm like, I'll try. And so I take just like a tube of magenta, a tube of cyan, a tube of white, and like with the pencil eraser. I just like started mixing them and tried to like make something. That was my first stumbling, and it looked awful. It made no sense. I drew a thing first to like paint. It was garbage, but like the willingness to like not depend on having a path set, in front of you first is I think a necessary skill to develop.
It is, yeah, it definitely is. I kind of notice that I have a problem with that, like especially with design. For some reason, my brain just can't wrap my head around coming up with original designs, and I'm always looking for answers. And I catch myself doing it and say, no, don't try to look for a textbook. Don't try to look to some other artist. Just kind of go for it. And I know that's sort of counterintuitive to us having YouTube channels providing answers,
right? But that is an answer in itself. So
yeah,
like, in and of itself.
An answer that is not an answer is like the reverse of an answer.
That's confusing, and you lost me already.
Okay,
2 + 2 is 5, by the way.
Let me try to put it in.
Yeah, sort that out for us.
For every, okay, so let's say you ask your instructor for a pointer, right? And they give you advice, but when you hear it, you're like, that's not clear, right? You could choose to see that as a problem. Why isn't this more clear? Why isn't it easier to understand gesture, values, something along those lines? There's another way to go with that, where you say even the instructor put it in words that are unclear. So this is an unclear concept.
Okay.
So it turns out that lines, values, everything are naturally flexible. They're confusing, and there's a lot of things you can do with them.
But I paid you, so explain it to me.
That's why you don't get
I just
paid.
want to say I am currently working on a line work video, so I think I have objectified it as much as I possibly can.
Trust this man. His videos are good.
He's great. Yeah.
You get it down to
He
brass
actually
tacks.
cares about his channel and his videos. It's amazing.
The only part I actually care about is the sponsors who pay me, and the other part that I care about is the skits.
We should talk about the sponsors real quick.
Sure.
So, Skillshare.
Oh, we should actually talk about them.
I do
Hold
like
on.
Audible. I use Audible
Hold
all the
on.
time.
We should talk about them because we're almost 40 minutes in, and they want me to do this.
That
They-
was
40
fast.
minutes?
Feels
like
Dude,
sorry.
ours yesterday was like, are we almost done? It's 20 minutes. Oh.
Well, anyway, guys, this episode was in fact brought to you by Skillshare. Again, you can use that link, skl.sh/moderndayjames. It's wonderful. Go over to YouTube if you can't remember that link, because that's a lot of letters and dots and whatnot. It's also brought to you by Amazon, audibletrial.com/moderndayjames. You get 30-day free trial. It's great. Check out my Gumroad videos. Check out Ahmed's Gumroad videos. Steve, do you have Gumroad videos?
No, you don't have to check me out.
You should check out his video. I want to learn from him.
We're
Right?
going to make you
Yeah, we need to make that
do
happen.
thing.
And also subscribe on Patreon. Don't subscribe on Ahmed's Patreon.
Yeah.
Head over to mine because I will give you less. No, I don't know. Head over to Ahmed's Patreon. Don't go to mine.
No, I'm taking a break.
Are you actually taking a break from
This month, yeah.
Okay, then don't do that. Don't do it this month. Do it next month. So yeah, actually, let's talk about that. How come you are taking a break? Is it a burnout situation? Is it just a life situation? I mean, wanting to experience life.
It's well, I don't know, man. Like, it's great. I love the people on my Patreon. Like, we have a really good community. Every month I have some kind of like topic, whether it's world building or composition, or trying to figure out how to control your focal points, things like that.
Yeah.
And like, I'll do like a 40 minute lecture.
I have a couple of your
Sometime.
Gumroads.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah. So
And then, but it also comes with like a sort of like an assignment, the same way I would assign it at Art Center or something.
yeah.
And now I'm just like, I have ideas of what to do for the next lessons, but I'm also taking a step back to sort of look at it from a new perspective.
Okay.
Especially since I had to come here anyway to New York for the wedding, and just a chance to like kind of, like I said, just look at it for the fresh eye.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to transition especially with something like a Patreon where you already have a set up structure, and let's say you decide that you want to do something completely different.
Right.
You want to do running videos or something. I don't know why you would, but do you find that transitioning in that way is really scary? Obviously, you're familiar with it by leaving LA. Like, what is your process of going about that?
Well, there's like the things that would be fearful is like, well, if you make such a drastic change, like I already have an audience. What are they going to think? They expect this. Like, if I suddenly do this, then there's the risk of losing that, right?
Yeah.
Addressing that, it's like your audience, if they're not there for you, and what, like, usually they are, and so like they kind of want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
And of course, there's like a lot of people who are just like, nah, I just want the tutorial. Screw you, like whatever. But if I was to have an audience, I would prefer that they're someone genuinely on the journey, together,
Yeah.
right? And which means like, hey, buddy, you're an artist just like me. I want you to be as authentic to you as possible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the like meta collaboration that happens.
Yeah.
And so that part could be scary at first, but I think my step away from it right now is that it's like just I want to restructure how it works. I think the tiers are a bit weird right now, but yeah, that would be my answer to that.
Yeah, and I mean it is pretty evident in all your content. I listened to some of it, and it is almost like mental health, or you're there not just to see you do really awesome drawings. It's also like you're creating an experience for everybody. You're helping them. You're almost being their Grant Cardone. In a
Sure.
way.
Yeah.
Because I remember I just there's a few of your streams that I had and I listened to, and it looks as though we are frozen in time on my end. I hope we're not. Hold on.
I'll just hold very still.
See, now I'm frozen in time. Oops.
Oh.
It looks as though we're gonna have to
Money.
pause this.
Do I
Can they
speak
still
Arabic?
hear us,
Yeah, I
or-
speak Arabic.
We are. Oh wait, we are not frozen in time anymore.
I'm the one with the red hat.
Yes.
Those of you asking. I can speak 3 languages as well.
This at some point on my computer
there we
now.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
it's working. Okay, so I think that is something that people come to you for in general. Is sort of they're not just there to see you make really good drawings. They're also there for life coaching, and they're there to get some advice on how to deal with the stresses of being an art. So-
Right. Yeah, I definitely sense that too. Because like I'll go through a lot of problems, whether it's insecurity or, finding that I'm stuck with something for whatever reason. Usually I'll try to address it whether it's through writing or self-therapy or a therapist. I see a therapist now.
Yeah.
And it's like, if this helped me, it's got to help somebody else.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody, if not now or later, they'll be in the similar position, and if they can see the process of how to overcome it or whatever, and then it sort of spreads, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to, hey, I fixed my thing, I'm gonna stay in my basement, never tell anyone. Like, okay, well, fair enough. But I think because of that, the willingness to be honest and vulnerable about my own problems, that's what I think resonates with other people who are like, yeah, I feel like I've learned so much about life. It's like, yeah, me too. This is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, hey, I know everything and come to me for answers. Like, I don't have answers. It's
Yeah.
just, this is what I'm. Yeah.
I guess that's true. You can't go through any of this stuff without you're in this constant battle with yourself, because you're always critiquing yourself in order to push yourself to get better. You're always your own worst enemy.
Mhm.
And I do think, sharing that with people is really helpful, because a young student might see your work and be like, well, if he's feeling that way, then it makes sense that I'm feeling that way at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the
How-
artist
yeah.
before the art, I would say. There's
Yeah.
I see a lot of sentiments online that really come off like really negative,
Yeah.
that prioritize people's art over them as an artist.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like utterly backwards, right? It's you're a person first, you're an artist second, and then the art is the result of that, right?
Yeah.
Like we were actually saying it on the show we were recording yesterday for your channel, that like I use this terrible analogy, but it's like a rose bush, right? If you look at a rose bush, all anyone really sees is this beautiful red rose that's on the ends of the bush, but the rose would not be there if it wasn't for the roots,
Yep.
the main body of the bush, the twigs with the thorns and the leaves coming out together, and then they produce the rose at the end, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got to handle your roots, you handle the base, you handle your twigs, and your art is just that beautiful thing at the end of that. you
Yeah.
know?
The cherry on top.
The cherry on top. You have to handle the foundations first. It's all self-same. It's all
Yeah,
like a
that's true.
fractal.
I
Yeah.
think that the life balance can often be really difficult in any creative field. I think going to therapy, I think everybody should do that.
Yeah,
It's a great
it's
idea. I'm working on health insurance, so that's my first situation to handle.
Great.
But yeah, how do you guys deal with that? Like, what sort of things do you do to keep your life in balance? Maybe hobbies, going out, doing.
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think the last month or so has been completely different for me for the first time in my life because of therapy and anxiety medication, and so it's like seeing the world for the first time.
Okay.
Which is why another reason as to why I stepped away from Patreon for a bit. It's like reframing everything, and like my field of view as all this data, and I'm just like rearranging and understanding things, because without the anxiety, it's like I have the chance to do it now, right?
Yeah.
And so I think what was the question?
I think I was just saying, like, what do you do aside from art to sort of take your mind away from it?
To balance your
and
life
so
out.
for me, like, I play guitar as well, probably not as good as you, but like I dabble. But lately I've been trying to find an answer to the question of how do I get stuff done? How do I be productive? How do I have a routine that I would enjoy and be satisfied with, like with meaning? And what it took was I needed to unplug my router and my modem, because when I did that, after frustration of video games and getting destroyed in Tetris by Joyce, God damn it, she's so good. Like I got so much done. Like 2 days in a row, I cleaned my room, if you will, right? And the dishes were clean. I did all my work that I need to do art-wise for the Patreon stuff.
Awesome.
And I was able to enjoy like moments of like the sun being out. I'm like, this is the first time. Oh my God. Like,
shit.
you know what I'm saying? So that's that.
I need to
I'm
do
learning.
that.
I'm still figuring it out. Yeah.
I have this addiction to the NHL video game, and I think I made the first healthy step.
There's a game?
There's games every year. I made the first healthy step, which is instead of doing that, I registered for a hockey class.
Nice.
Every Wednesday night, I'm gonna go play.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the
the
best
move.
alternative.
You're already interested in it. Just make it physical.
I always feel like I need to have some sort of physical hobby because I'm here at this desk all day. I've been doing rock climbing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, rock climbing is so much fun. And I have this competitive urge, so like I'm like, well, I'm just gonna become the best rock climber. I'm like, no, I gotta get that out of my head.
Oh, right.
I'm like, I'm not gonna be the best rock climber or the best hockey player.
Do it for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Steve?
So for me, thank God for my wife, man.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, I would just be like at home alone drawing all the time. But like, I came up with this policy a long time ago that when my wife pitches me anything, like our friends want to do this, what if we go do this? Or if any of my friends say, should we do this, should we do that? I always just say yes, in the full knowledge that most plans fall through. Like someone doesn't pick it up, it doesn't happen.
It's the best.
It rains that day. So I just, a long time ago, I put on this policy, yes, and then since I already committed, when the time comes, I'm just like, I chose this, and then I go do it, and then once I'm there, I have fun.
Do you want to visit Ohio?
Sure, yes.
No, goddamn.
We'll see what happens.
I don't want to visit Ohio. No.
We have nothing. We have corn.
I've been there before. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember we were gonna go to Cedar Point, and then we slept.
No, you were just like, I gotta take a nap. And I was like, well,
That
Med doesn't wake up.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, I put on that policy. I think that's really helpful. You know, if you just let your friends drag you out. So that kind of like puts me out in the world. Like I go to places, I hang out with people, see sunsets, do hikes, like do all that. I love all that stuff now. Once you get exposed to it enough, like it just becomes great and fun. And then for my personal, like without any other people, I meditate, which maybe has like a little bit of stigma when people just throw that out there. But yeah, I've been meditating since college. Med remembers me with like my cushions and stuff in my bedroom and everything. So, you know,
that sentence.
What?
Med remembers me with my cushions in my bedroom.
Well, I had a big meditation cushion in my bedroom.
Sounds like
meditation.
It sounds like this relationship is different than we had previously expected.
Yeah, well, you know. Yeah.
Believe what you'd like. Yeah,
but
we had to share a bed once, and we put that barrier between us. Right?
Oh, okay.
I did not request the barrier.
I wanted the barrier.
So you guys are just like a 1950s couple. That's all. You sleep with the bed separate.
Yeah, that's right.
It was so cold.
Does your wife know about the you and Ahmed?
Yeah,
I gotta get married.
too much.
Are there any single ladies?
Oh.
All right, here we go. Now it's
Is this how this is
dating
working?
game.
Translator for standard English and Ohio.
Now it's just the dating game.
Chad.
Oh my God. All right. So I had a question and I lost it. I had a. It was a
How
good
are you?
question.
How are you feeling? Let's make it about you for a
Sure,
minute.
Sure.
Flip the
Let me get the
camera.
camera on me. So I'm feeling pretty. I'm actually recently feeling pretty good. I do have that tendency to like work myself to the bone. I know I reached out to you actually once because I had been listening to your stuff and I was looking at your art and I was like, shit, I can't do that. And then I got really bummed out and I needed to remember that like you can't do the whole thing in one day. You can't become the best artist overnight. You just have to give it your best. But I'm doing better.
Exactly.
I'm back here. I'm back home in New York, so I'm around my friends, which is nice.
That's great.
Out in LA,
Really important.
yeah, I was out in LA. I'm not a big fan of LA.
About that. So
Yeah.
you just came back then?
Yeah, brainstorm. John let me keep my class, but I'm just running it online now,
Great.
which is awesome.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
So I just do it online. We just finished up the last session of my first semester yesterday.
What do you use for that?
I just use Google Hangouts, which is gonna break in a couple months because
Oh,
they're
yeah,
getting
yeah.
rid of it.
Is that true?
Yeah, they're getting
Yeah.
rid of Hangouts. Yeah.
You're not going to be able to like stream on YouTube then?
No, I
Oh,
can still
you
do
can.
it.
That's
I use
separate?
OBS for the actual streaming,
Mhm.
but for getting everybody else online, I was using Google Hangouts. But I can do GoToMeeting because I think John has the account for that.
Wow, I can't believe they're closing that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm doing a little bit better. I feel like life shit always ends up happening, and it's hard to balance that, and for me now I'm with the sponsors on the videos. I've signed contracts, and so now there's this like,
I love Audible, by the way.
yeah, Audible's
Audible's
wonderful.
great.
But
Use it
then
every day.
then you're contractually obligated to get a certain number of videos out, and that becomes a difficult situation.
That's why I don't read those emails. I got 2 from
know.
Skillshare this week. I'm
I
like, no, I'm
know.
not even going to sorry, Skillshare, if you're watching.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm already in it. But
Just lean into it.
It's
Go
good
for
money, but
It
I'm
is.
lazy.
yeah, and
Can
yeah,
you make any kind of video you want? to
yeah,
fulfill
they're
it?
really nice about
So
it.
you're
They
good, man.
I had a torture scene in my last video. It was a stupid torture scene, but they were okay with it, and they were totally fine.
It was
So,
amazing.
Thank
That's
you, thank
great.
you.
You got a robot.
Oh yeah. Oh, we
I
have
gotta
a,
see this.
for those that don't know and you don't know. The whole storyline is that modern day Jameses are clones,
Okay.
and there's a character.
so much done.
Yeah,
See,
there's a
yes.
there's a character named Olden Day James, who's the mastermind behind the whole situation.
Right.
And he can time travel, and he basically set up this whole facility for mass producing modern day Jameses to make video content. And now there's a robot character named Future Times Jim. There's a really good naming convention here.
It's all
And
very consistent.
yeah, very consistent. And he's sort of like the muscle, and he was interrogating some of the defective modern day Jameses and trying to rehabilitate him.
That's
You've
And
got a
so-
whole world on your hands.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun.
When's the art book coming out?
Never.
Fun.
Issuing refunds right now. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, it
gotta
might
do
come
what
out
you
at
gotta
some
do.
point, but I felt like I was on such a good pace, and I had set that up, and then brainstorm, more lessons,
Moving back and forth.
moving back and forth, life, and then I was like, oh no,
It was
I can't
a lot. That's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a heck of a lot of stuff just stacked on. I feel like for me with art, it's really weird. I always feel like I'm kind of on the back foot because I really, in my mind, I kind of just started. I was always more of a musician than an artist. And so I feel like I kind of put myself out there really early before I kind of felt comfortable doing it. And so I feel like I'm in a race a lot of times against where I'm teaching people, so that I'm responsible for that. I'm making these videos, and then I'm like, shit, I'm still just trying to get better every single day. And it's hard. It's hard. I'm sure you guys feel that too when you're putting out videos. You're still, I don't know if you feel like somewhat of a responsibility for the audience, but your videos aren't like, I think I structured them in a way where I'm kind of telling them things, whereas you're just
Yeah.
saying this is what I'm doing, and that might be a
Yeah.
better approach to it.
Well, that's something I learned from Gary Vaynerchuk, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
He, Gary V, if anyone else doesn't know. The idea when you're doing something like this, a creative endeavor, or having a platform, it's not necessarily where you have to create something, but rather document what it is that you are already doing.
Yeah.
Like it's a documentation, like, because if it's just, hey, this is me, this is what I'm going through, this is my art, that's ideal for me, versus what do they want to see, let me make a list and bullet points, I'll make that for them because that's what works. It just feels forced, rigid, and kind of fake. So
Yeah, that's a good point too, because I think maybe it's the narration that I do. Something about it comes off more like a lecture than just sitting and having a chat. And so I do think some of the younger people will watch that and then take that as gospel. But if I get something wrong, then then you get criticism for it. Like
Yeah. The thing with like, usually what I say is like whatever's on my mind. If
Yeah.
it happens to be untrue, someone will say it, and I'll be like, and I'll assess it and be like, okay, you have a point, cool.
Yeah.
But if they come attacking, like, wow, you're such a horrible person, but which has
Which is
happened.
weird.
Yeah,
That's
there's
weird.
a lot
Like,
of those.
What are you?
Okay,
Are you
okay.
okay? Like, what's?
Obviously, this is
it's
not
not
about
that-
what's happening here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Then it's like, okay, that's not my problem either, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, my intentions are just, I don't have bad intentions. It's good intentions. I want to share the process. I want to help other people. At the same time, support myself so I can continue traveling and drawing elf girls.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
working out great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working out great.
I think one of the biggest shocks for me was the like really aggressive negative feedback online. How did you?
Mystifying.
It is scary. Even now, I try to look at it less and less, and I'm still actively doing
You
that.
get negative feedback?
all the time.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, my people on Discord sent me a lot of 4chan stuff at
Okay,
first.
well, that doesn't count.
I'll talk
I
about
didn't know
4chan.
that.
I'll
See,
talk
I didn't.
about 4chan.
I had
Yeah.
never heard of that website.
Yeah, I got hurt
It's-
from that a little bit before,
Yeah.
too, yeah.
And so then one of my people on Discord sent it to me, and I was like, wow, people think this.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, the thing that they said about me was like, yeah, this towel head is okay at drawing,
God.
but his work is so effing generic, it's garbage. And I'm like, he's kind of right though. And so it kind of like, I was like, yeah, my work is kind of generic. So in a way, it was like criticism and
Yeah.
like being a jerk. But you call me like racist names, and we say it.
But it's a little
Oh,
bit
really?
different coming from him though, because you know he's got.
just kidding.
For the record, I do not.
Oh, okay.
I always call him my eternal champion, Ahmed
Oh.
Aldoori. That's what I
That's so
call him.
sweet.
Yeah,
That's
it
so
is
sweet.
Yeah.
Now, I sometimes will joke around with my friends and be very offensive, but they're coming from a place of like
Exactly.
trying to
Yeah.
improve or make you feel better or just josh around with you. But I think for me, it was a real shock thinking people were so angry. And
Right, weird.
They're not. They're angry at themselves.
I know,
That's true,
and
yeah.
that is
It's
what it is.
projection, yeah.
That is what it is, but it's just strange. It's just a surreal feeling. So that's what you have to look forward to. Is
Yeah. Oh, he'll be fine.
It's fine. I mean,
He lives for it.
me personally, like I see the image board on 4chan, I go there to laugh, man. I mean, I just go, hear people say terrible things, laugh, and then I feel deep sympathy for the struggle that they're going through. Because it's hard to be an artist, man.
It's hard.
It's hard to start out and see people who are like Med and just be like, oh, if I'm not that, I'm nothing, right? Because that's what it is. That's the
Yeah.
pain, right? If you're not one of these successful people, you're nothing. That's how they project it on themselves.
Yeah.
And just no one has ever, given them a hug and been like, you're a person first, pay your rent,
Yeah.
love your family, and then make art, right? You could really absolve a lot of that negativity with that. And then I check out the what's your favorite painting threads, because those always teach me a lot about art. There's always a lot of people who post what their favorite painting is, and I'm like, how is that possible? Are you serious? That's
See,
amazing.
That's that feeling that just comes back.
Real
that was-
quick.
yeah, sure.
James, you need to realize how much progress you made in just a couple of years.
Oh, thank you.
Good point.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
wanted to say that too,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
Thank you.
For whoever is critiquing you anywhere, there are also people on
TM9,
IC
yeah.
on 4chan who say, how did modern day James get that good that fast? That's super frustrating. Like, there's also people giving you your merit.
Well, thank
know?
you. I think a lot of that is that thing we deal with as artists, which is just being so self-critical. It's difficult. You always are
Double-edged
like,
sword.
it is a double-edged sword. In so many ways, I'm thankful for it because I like the fact that it keeps pushing me. But sometimes I think I do need to chill out more and just sort of take the time to go outside,
Get some pizza.
get some pizza.
You can hang out with me, man. I'm up in Sunnyside.
Sure, I didn't know you existed.
Guys, you're
before today,
friends
so
now.
yeah.
Hooray.
I'm trying to look for people to hang out with.
Yeah,
So
let's do it.
man.
He has a
And-
nice dog.
Do you
My
really?
dog's pretty
She's
nice.
the best.
Not for the first hour, but then after
Oh,
that,
she
Okay.
hated me.
Yeah.
She was like,
I saw the stories, and that looks like an amazing dog. So I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I have a very shy dog who's she's very lovely.
Yeah, I
very
think I
nice.
saw her like look and walk away.
Yeah, no, she has 3 legs. She's traumatized from before we
Aw,
adopted her.
dude.
Oh,
God,
no,
let's give
man.
her a pet before we go.
Yeah.
My dog's from a hoarding house in Mississippi.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 16 dogs, 4 chickens, 5 turtles,
Oh
all
my
in like a
God.
1-bedroom apartment.
Oh my
Wasn't
God.
she like
Terrible.
found underneath a bed or
Oh
something.
yeah, with just
God.
like dog crap everywhere.
Oh god!
on
Now
the
I know we were
ground.
being sympathetic to mental health, but can we talk about hoarders for a
That's
moment?
that's a problem. That's a problem because you inflict it on others.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
is true.
That's
Oh
not
my
good.
god! I'm so sorry for your puppy.
Well,
I
she's great
saved her.
now. She
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
the
Told her-
life.
I was like, I'll never let that happen to you again. Now I hug her
I'll
every
never
day.
get 16 more of you. I promise.
Yes, I promise.
It was the first time I've ever like fallen asleep, taking a nap, and it's just like petting a dog. I've never felt that before. It's like I get it now.
He didn't know he was a dog
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, the thing is, in my culture, we were raised to like not like dogs and pets and stuff,
Okay.
especially in the Middle East. Like dogs are everywhere in the streets and they bite you. So
Yeah.
the notion is they're evil, but like the more I'm exposed to them, like, dude, these are great things.
Yeah.
So we could take them on walks. They eat food and it's cute and stuff.
Shit.
So,
Wait, forgive me for not knowing. Where are you from? I didn't.
I was born in Iraq.
Okay.
We were in Baghdad and we left during Desert Storm. I was
Okay.
2 years old. We were in a refugee camp for a bit. It's a long story. I actually do want to do a video on that. But
yeah.
You
moved-
should. It's an amazing story.
We went to California and then Ohio, and now I'm here
Why did they leave California for Ohio?
because my dad got a job.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was
That's
a
good-
doctor. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a doctor. He's still alive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I personally prefer colder climates.
That's weird.
I just love
Same.
the cold. Yeah.
I sweat too fast. I can't be in a
I'm
hot
sweating
place.
now, and it's kind of cold here.
I was born in the desert, so
Oh yeah. It's like,
Everything's adding up.
oh,
which is confusing. It's like then why all the hair? It whatever. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe it helps the air circulate. It traps in the cold air. I don't know.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh my god.
There were a couple of questions that I remember.
Imposter syndrome.
Emily, it was Emmeline. That was Davey from yesterday. Hi, Davey. Hello.
Hey, Davey. Nice to meet you.
Yes, it was.
Last night, yeah.
Thanks for coming out. Why didn't you come yesterday?
Oh.
Uh,
I have an excuse. I was
Perfect.
teaching.
All right.
Okay,
Valid,
fine.
I guess.
It was my
Fine.
last day of class. I was teaching till 6.
All right.
I was busy. I should've
Imposter
came, though.
syndrome, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier about self-critical tendencies. I was reading into it a lot because I was certain that I was suffering from it, and I think
Yeah.
I definitely was. And the idea is that despite the success, despite all the people telling you made it and you're making money and you have the position, or you just did the drawing and it just looks acceptable or whatever, but deep down you still feel like it didn't fulfill, it didn't reach that level of, okay, this is what I expected to feel. But
Yeah.
the problem is in that equation is you think it's supposed to feel like something. It's
Yeah.
like, because you see someone else succeed, it's like, that's what I need to become, and it's going to feel like blah blah blah. So when you get there, it doesn't feel like the blah blah blah, and you're just like, where is it? I'm a fake. They're going to find out any second. Like and like the way I got over it is like just talking more about it. Like on Discord we talk a lot about these things and realizing that everyone's dealing with it
Yeah.
at all levels, and the feeling of building up an ideal of what you think it's supposed to be, whether it's even like sports players feel this, like they
Sure.
think at any moment someone's going to say, wait a second, you're not actually supposed to be here, get out of here.
Yeah.
And like we're all frantically like trying to prove, no, this is me, but deep down you don't feel like. And so as a result, you're trying to compensate by trying to prove all the time. The way I got over it was to just, through talking and like starting to slowly actually believe the people that say, yeah, you did make it, you are good at the thing or whatever.
Give yourself your own merits.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
And just be grateful for everybody who helped you. It's like if you let yourself be proud of something you accomplished, you're not a dick if you also give credit to like, well, thanks mom, thanks dad,
Yeah,
thanks
yeah.
the academy, thanks
You mean you didn't do it by
teachers.
yourself? Imposter.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sure having art friends too also helps. I don't really associate with too many artists. Yeah. I'm
What's up?
like, because you can always bounce ideas back and forth and do that. I just have friends in the music field and we just shit talk each other all the time.
Artists. You guys are artists too.
Yeah, that's true. It's maybe like, I see that situation as maybe, you excel like extremely at music. I mean, I don't know much about playing an instrument, but when I hear you shred, it's
Thank
like,
you.
okay, there's an expert, right? Like, that's pretty clear. So you guys have left your insecurity behind in that area. So
Yeah,
that's why you
it's
guys
the same.
needle
Yeah,
each
yeah,
other
yeah.
and shit
Yeah.
talk,
Yeah.
right? It's like, the same thing happens once you get there with art, right? Like when we were in studio, it was always just like coming over with our coffee, being like,
Yeah.
really, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it is actually pretty weird. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's super weird because I can pick up a guitar and I am not ashamed at all.
You're just
I
in
have
the zone.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really relieving to be in a position where you can kind of just have this sort of direct emotional connection to whatever it is, the tool that you're using. But I pick up art and I'm like,
right.
all the list of possible problems is there in my head.
It's a dark forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny, like you mentioned the when we were working at that studio, I didn't get much work done. A lot. Like it was just like I could do this in like 2 hours and I have all day to do it. And I just like kind of walk over to you. So what are you doing? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend we're talking about the project. So what are you doing later? It's just like we're gonna watch that movie. Is your girlfriend like what's going? What are we doing?
We did do that a lot.
Yeah, we were bad. Sorry, Ronnie, if you're watching this. I doubt she's watching.
I think she left
She was
too.
our coordinator. Oh, right, she did leave.
Are you
Sorry,
saying that?
Randy.
Are you saying that not enough people watch this? That Randy might not be watching the podcast?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wound up staying there longer than you did. I worked there for 3
You did.
years,
You made bank.
almost in that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Some bank, yeah.
I
And I'm good at
wasted
saving
all my
money. I'm good at saving money because all I buy is paper and pencils.
Oh,
so
shit.
that stuff is pretty cheap. But like all the floor stuff, that was all great, and I came to like doing the work when it was like aligning with the stuff I'm into. But my
Yeah.
favorite thing was we used to do these meetings
Oh my god.
where the clients would come in. We had like a brand name for them in the company, but you would bring the clients in. You'd lock them in this big auditorium room for
The
all
charrette?
day. Yes, the charrette. You'd lock them in that room all day with a bunch of people from the studio, right? And you would spend all day brainstorming with them. And if an artist was available, an artist would be in there and you would sketch ideas in front of the clients
that's
they're
talking
talking about.
That's
Wow.
really cool.
as they were talking about it.
I was
That became
horrible at that.
my favorite thing.
That's
That
because you
became-
like the performance aspect of it.
Yeah.
You like
They
that.
let me
Yeah.
do that once, and like, cause like I didn't really know what the concept was, and I was like trying to understand what they were saying, and what's Tyler came over. He's like, okay, so yeah, just draw whatever they're talking about. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I still drew nothing. I'm just like waiting for like some kind of solid thing, but you just took off.
My
I'm
trick
like,
was always I would do their ideas fast enough that for every like 3 of theirs, I'd get in one of mine, and then
Yeah.
I would like pitch that too whenever it was time to review the ideas. And I was just lucky that they weren't terrible because some of them were like, hey, we should carry that through. A few of the things that I pitched in those meetings actually wound up being like final deliverables for some
yeah,
projects.
you've
Yeah.
done things at that company that made them millions, and they didn't give you all the millions.
I don't claim my merit. I really appreciated that
Yeah,
job. I'm
I'm
so
like,
happy. It
you
gave me so
just
many opportunities.
Earned them a lot of money
Yeah.
with the pitch that you just did.
That's really awesome.
They
Did-
are a great company.
Did
If
you-
you're looking for theme park designs, you should
Oh,
go
yeah.
to them.
Did you catch on to that because did you gravitate towards that because you have this sort of knack for performance or?
Well, they approached me one day. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was part of my job description. I think they probably did the same to you. One of the management came over and said, we need someone for the meeting. Do you think you could do it? And it's my job. So I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't know what to expect. So I
They
went.
didn't either.
So I went in, and the first time when I saw what was happening, like, oh, it's the client, oh, with the money on the line, oh, all of us on this side, oh, and then at the end, all the drums.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, stressful. And then I was like, all right, we're going to figure this out. By the
Yeah.
second or third meeting, I was like, the best thing you can do is just not worry about it. Because
Yeah.
again, just like a
That was my
presentation,
problem.
the client doesn't want to see that anyone's stressed.
Yeah.
So I would just come in like, what's going on? Meet the client, say hi.
You'd always
be like-
smile.
yeah, you just smile. And
Yeah.
they just love that.
Yeah.
It's like the drawing.
You have a good
barely
face for
matter.
it too. They're probably like, oh, he knows what he's doing. You're good.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Now, what about with live streaming though? Do you get stressed like that, or is it?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I don't stream at all, really. Sometimes I'll do an impromptu Instagram live thing.
Okay.
I know I do have a Twitch, and I was thinking about if I do get more settled, in terms of schedule and routine, that I would stream. But I don't know. I don't see the reason to do it for me.
Okay.
It's like what I do best is when I do a collection of very helpful content,
Yeah.
put it out there. But I do understand at the same time people like that connection and asking questions. Like,
Yeah.
I know we're ignoring all these great questions right now, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll.
Yeah. To me, it feels like playing a live show, and it's
Yeah.
the closest I have been to like playing music live. And yeah, I don't know. I like training that ability to sort of or disconnect my drawing mind from my speech mind, so I can kind of just keep a stream of consciousness going while I'm drawing. Yeah, I like that though. It's fun and it's cool to talk to the audience. And speaking of which, sorry.
I was gonna say I stream for that reason, and also because it gives me the performative aspect as well. And when I'm streaming, it's like I almost feel like I'm just doing the drawing to fill visual time, and I'm really there to answer questions. That's what it feels like for me.
Yeah, I agree with
that. I think now, since I'm looking at the world all differently, I would reframe it, because in the past it was definitely anxiety-inducing. It's a stream, it's live, people are watching, I have to do a good drawing, etc. And so now that it's different, I think it would be a different reconsideration. Lucas asked, and this would be a question.
Hey, Lucas.
He said something about...
Where are we? Wait.
A little bit higher.
A little bit higher?
I heard people saying that the workload of Art Center is actually much larger than that of an actual company. Is that true?
That's also my student, and he said that to me, and I said I have no idea.
At least for the time that we were there, I would say definitely yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely
like they
yes.
over-prepared us.
Yeah, it made it easy to it was easier to schedule within an 8-hour workday. And, when you're at a company, you're not just your desk, you're talking to your friends, in a way you're networking with them because they're all professionals, right? Like you can't just be tethered to your desk.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing. Yeah, I'd say the workload at Art Center was definitely way more than what you do on a day-to-day.
Which is why earlier I said, they gave me this thing that I could do in 2 hours, but I have 8 hours to do it. It's like at Art Center, you used to okay, I'm done with this, got to move on to the next one, then the next one. And it was, I don't think it's so much the same anymore, but it was definitely an over preparation.
And that's good because you need the chops, right?
Yeah.
Like you get the chops up front so that you can be more relaxed around the people later.
Yeah, when there's money on the line, you don't have to worry about it.
And there was Revi that asked about how to deal with failures along the way. Is that who asked that? No dog here. Sorry, we left it at Steven's place. Hi, Revi, by the way.
I hope she's not peeing.
Oh, dude, yeah. Dude,
she's all right.
Yeah, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. Yeah.
What was the question?
I had a question, though. So you still work with companies in out west, or is it?
Yes. Right now, I'm doing board game work right now, and that's for
Awesome.
a company in Washington. That's with
Cool.
Peterson Games. And yeah, the theme park design company was in Los Angeles, and I was in-house there.
Okay.
And then I did all my work for Elder Scrolls Online from home here in New York.
Awesome.
And they're down in Maryland.
Okay. So what was the decision to come back to New York? Is just better?
It was to be with my wife, or my
Okay.
current wife. Yeah. She had lived in LA with me for 2 years.
Yeah, your previous wife wasn't. So.
We don't want to talk
Don't tell
about
the
her.
Catholic Church that. I'd be very upset. We had been living together in LA for 2 years, and then she got a job at SVA here in the city.
Cool.
Yeah, in administration over there. So when she got that job, we planned it out. We were like, "That's a really good job for you. You got to do this. That's
Awesome.
the career you want to pivot into." She was like, "But you're here," and I was like, "Right, you go. Give me 6 months. I'll save enough money to have a year," right? Sort of like you're thinking about. Yeah. So then once I saved it, it was about 4 months after she left. Then I drove cross country, came back here to New York, and then I just started job hunting. And eventually I found ESO, which I found on an ArtStation job listing, by the way.
Oh, cool.
So
Go figure.
if you're looking for jobs, that is a totally legitimate place to find work.
And New York is far superior and not on fire. That's always what I say to everybody.
Currently not on fire.
Currently not on fire. There's no such thing as a fire season. That no one should be subject to a fire season. That's horrible. There is a store at every corner. You can just walk everywhere. Public transit actually works.
I love this place, man.
It's so much fun. I love New York.
I think New York.
He's trying to get me to move here.
You should move here, and then we can all start.
Yeah, but I want to be
network.
bored in Ohio because I'm surrounded by nothing but corn, and it's just by myself. Why would I leave that?
You're so charismatic. You're so
I don't.
talented.
What are you talking
doing,
about?
man?
I'm an introvert. I don't know how to speak.
There is
sentences.
cow
Trying to
tipping
help
out
them.
there, right? There's cow tipping you can do.
There's cows.
Oh,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, we have cows.
Cow tipping, I've never done it. Next time we're in Ohio, please take me a cow.
I've
tipping.
never done it either.
Man,
But my
come
friends
on.
have. I have a story for that for later.
What didn't I like about LA? I'm sure LA, for some people, it's nice. For people that are maybe they like to do hiking. I like to go for runs, but I don't really like to hike. But I like running around here in Bay Ridge. I have this there's this thing called Shore Road.
It's beautiful here.
Yeah, just go right along the river. Look at this Verrazano Bridge. I like that everything. I can just walk anywhere. It's not that I didn't like LA as much as I preferred to be home here in New York.
LA was definitely an upgrade from Ohio.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I liked it at first, but after 9 years, I got sick of it.
Yeah.
And Med's starting to like Sunnyside.
Mm,
So
look, the pizza's good, the dog's nice, but I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. So what do you think is the future for you, Ahmed? And then I'll go to you, Steve.
Right now, I don't know, since I'm still like reframing everything, but things I can say is like I do plan to do an art book.
Cool.
That I should be announcing either in a week or two.
You just announced it.
I mean, like an official, because we did that yesterday.
That happened
But I meant
yesterday,
like
too.
an official, like, hey, blah blah blah, Kickstarter, blah blah blah. Because I'm
Gotcha.
in talks with the publisher, and
Cool.
and I want to.
Sorry.
You know,
That's all right.
I'm really at the moment inspired by Love, Death, and Robots. The idea that there's mini clips of short stories, like an anthology. So it would be, because I have tons of ideas. I don't like the idea of doing one big thing. I like snippets. Like there's this, there's that. Because I have like this artist ADD, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And so there's that. I do want to eventually be more consistent with the routine for YouTube, and I'm really optimistic and hopeful because of the therapy and medication, but also like the revelations that I'm learning along the way, such as, hey, unplug the router, you get stuff done.
Yeah.
And because I found that having internet was my subconscious way of reinforced neurons to distract myself from working, because working gave me anxiety. So it was like my coping mechanism. So anyway, that's my future for now.
Cool. And long term, I always want to know what people's long term goals are. So more art books. Do you want to do games?
Short animation shorts. I like the idea of collaborating.
You got an animator right here.
Yeah.
Not good yet. Don't
Hey,
don't plug me just
But
yet.
we'll,
deep time, dude. It's all in
it's
the
never
future.
going to work. We need someone to pitch our stuff, and we have
Oh,
nobody.
shit.
Who could you get to pitch your stuff?
Dude,
Oh, God.
Jaguar, he's pretty good.
He is pretty
Yeah.
good.
What's up, Jaguar? If you're listening.
Hey, Jack.
And what about you?
So near future and far future are kind of similar. So for personal projects, I'm currently illustrating Paradise Lost, but I'm doing that sort of as a master copy for something similar that I'm writing completely my own.
Okay.
So at night, I got the notepad open. I'm writing my thing out. So I'm going to do that in a similar format to how I'm illustrating my Paradise Lost project right now.
Yeah, I
So
saw that. It's amazing.
Thank you, man. So yeah, that'll hopefully be like, it'll probably change, but it'll hopefully be a narrated, illustrated story that I wrote.
Okay.
And then for professional near future, I'm doing freelance now. Again, I'm doing it at home, but I've realized like I really liked working on Elder Scrolls, but I did not like that I was home alone all day.
Okay.
So now I'm like looking for studio stuff around New York, and it's not the same fields in New York. So I'm looking at
not.
Yeah, so I'm looking around at different things. I just know I want to work with people again, and I'm also willing to, like, if no one's going to give it to me, I'll make it, you know?
Yeah.
So if we're looking at, like, a meta long-term goal, it's like, if I fail to find a studio in New York that I can work with people at, and then it doesn't make sense to, like, leave New York, it's like meta long goal that is conditional on this failure. It's like, I'll make my own.
Yeah,
I'll find a way to do it.
I've been thinking that too, because obviously I work here in the home. It would be so cool to start something here in New York. I guess maybe people don't because of real estate and the pre-existing thing in LA.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But it is surprising how few. There's pretty much no entertainment companies out here.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, I mean nobody's hiring me for entertainment anyway. But I'm just saying.
You're very good though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
let me shake your hand because maybe we'll have to talk about this at some point in the future.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
I'm not working with you.
Yeah, that's it. That's me. Personal and professional, short term, long goal.
Awesome.
There we go.
Awesome. Now you touched on something that I wanted to talk about earlier, which was once you do start making money, how do you deal with it? How do you save? How do you spend all of your money?
Okay. Well, I was talking to some friends recently about the thoughts of investment, like Roth IRAs, etc. So that's kind of floating in my mind, knowing that in the future it's good to have some kind of thing building in the background.
Yeah.
But ideally, what I like to daydream about is like I just do this one project, I sell it off as an IP to some movie thing and just make a ton of money, so I never have to make money again, right? And just like live like cheaply.
So then the notion of money is just out of your
it's
life.
Like, as an artist, I don't like the idea of like money and Ferraris and stuff. Like I like the money in the sense that it allows me to travel and do things, but I'm not in the hustle in the way Gary Vee or Grant Cardone are. But like I don't have any strategies entirely. I just have like a shotgun approach where I just want a big chunk and just of money and just like It's like a kind of shooting for the stars, landing on the moon kind of thing.
Okay, because I'm always of the mindset that because you'll see some artists that are so good but maybe don't market themselves very well.
Right.
And I'm kind of always of the mindset that you should, if you're confident in the work that you've produced, then you should have no shame in putting yourself out there and maybe be just as creative about how you market yourself.
I mean,
For
there
sure.
are big YouTubers in art that, I mean, aren't very good, but like I love them still. But when it comes to like what you would right click and save on your computer, it's not necessarily what they would make.
Yeah, for sure.
Or buy as a print, right?
Yeah, for sure. And what about you?
For me, the baseline is live thrifty, which is harder for some people than others. It's like I can't give too much advice on that because me naturally, I don't have expensive taste in any way. I have like a very simple baseline lifestyle.
Married.
And then I also like my wife and my mother-in-law are like they're bargain hunters.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Like, that
They're
helps
so
me out.
good at it.
They're really good at finding deals. So that helps me out a lot. So whenever we do need to get something, they always they just love it. So they're just like, I'm going to spend 3 nights figuring out exactly how to get this for the best price, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just buy.
Yeah.
I'm horrible.
I know. I would do that if I was alone.
I'm
Yeah.
what the car salesman loves. Like, you'll just buy it. Oh, okay.
I have a horrible philosophy on money. I'm just like, well, I'll spend as much as I want, but I'll just make it all back.
Okay.
Hey, if you can do it. It's
I
not that
try.
horrible.
I try. I'm always, advertising and whatnot.
Yeah, you do good. You put yourself out
you.
there. I think that was a wise move, even early on. I think
I learned it from being in a band where you have to shamelessly self-promote all the time. I remember when I first started writing music, I was, I think I was 11, and we put out an album, and I was going through the mall with an iPod, and I was like, "Hey, do you like music?"
Mm-hmm.
And then, which is a terrible thing because you don't ask them what genre they like. But depending on if the person looked like they were into metal, I would, show them the metal part. If they looked like they weren't, we had some poppier sections and I'd show them that.
Nice.
And so I kind of got into the mindset of this sort of like, put the work in and make your content and your material really good, but also give it the respect it deserves by putting it out there.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with the YouTube channel. I look back at the old stuff and I'm embarrassed, but at the same time, I'm happy that I made the effort to put it out and at least let people see it.
Yeah, people
they
loved
appreciate
it.
it. Yeah.
People
Yeah.
loved it. Like, there's no taking that away from them. Like, you helped so many
Thank you.
people. Yeah, it's a great thing.
Thank you. And I think, I think a lot of people are almost ashamed to sort of put their stuff out there or kind
Unless
of like,
it's perfect.
yeah.
I'm waiting for it
Forget
to be
that.
good.
And it will never be perfect.
No, you'll never be ready either.
No.
So you have to just jump into the water.
You can always
Yeah.
delete it later.
That's
Yeah.
true. I do that all the
We're
time.
all going to be deleted eventually.
Oh my
Eventually.
God. So what's going to happen when we're all replaced by AI?
I will be one of those AIs.
Dear
See you
Elon
on the other
Musk.
side. Uploading on day one.
We need to
You
get
can
Elon.
upload into the cloud and become a AI. All right.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a possibility, it's like, I'm not going to get caught on the flesh side, man. I'm out.
No.
I'm going to pivot.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I always tell Carly, my girlfriend, I'm like, listen, as soon as robotic legs are a thing and you can get them,
You'll run.
I can run so much
So
faster.
easy, yeah.
Because one, who cares about legs? I mean, people that don't have legs might want them.
They would probably care.
They would probably care. But I don't use them for drawing or music or anything. And if I can just jump up, like imagine I'm sitting on the ground and I just jump all the way up onto my balcony.
Valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Might do some damage to my spine, but seems like a
Well,
good time.
What, are
Yeah,
you
the
going to
metallic
fight the
spine, too.
robots?
No,
You're going to try to fight the robots?
Come on, look. Yeah, I'm just like a purist. Like, whatever. Like,
Okay.
I might get like my eyebrow fixed because I got pushed in when I was like in the 2nd grade playing football.
That's what you're going to use AI for?
No, but in terms of like change. Yeah, maybe something metallic. I don't
Okay,
know,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
That's
I
what's
could do
up.
that now. What am I talking about? I take it all back.
Don't get liquefied. Stay alive.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't get
Skynet.
liquefied.
Well, anyway, boys, is there anything that you want to leave off the public with that you want to tell everybody else? Because I want to start playing guitar, so
Yeah,
and I don't want to do that for
He
everybody
can
right
sing
now.
really well, so we could do a
I
thing.
can't.
Awesome.
No, I can't.
He's really good.
He's
Awesome.
trying to get me to screech in front of him.
He's no, like he's a
No,
he's a
I'm
savant.
gonna watch you guys shred, and I'm gonna do the thing that hipsters do at music shows and intellectualize the music.
Oh,
and
okay. With one of these.
And
They're
then
so
when
good
you
at
guys
that.
do a solo, I'm gonna go.
And then the nodding goes faster.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
Wait, do you have
intellectualizing
a cup
faster.
of coffee and a mason jar? Or?
If
Oh, yeah.
James can
I
provide me.
do have mason jars. I hit all of the hipster points. I live in Brooklyn. I'm an artist. I drink kombucha religiously.
Nice, dude.
I hit it all.
You got the beanie.
Yeah, I got the
you play
beanie.
music.
Listen to-
Deftones, great band.
Yeah, I love the Deftones. They are so good.
So good.
Oh my god. On that note, the Deftones are amazing.
Did you hear Tool's releasing a new album this month?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you like Tool? I mean,
I do like.
Deftones.
Yeah, I do like. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, confirmed by Danny Carey, the guy. So
Fuck yeah. Well, on that note, everybody, Ahmed leaves you with that. Tool is coming out with a new album,
that's what art's about. Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
Dude, thanks for having us, man.
No,
Yeah, this
thank
is
you
a lot
so
of
much.
fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love doing
You
it.
guys should keep doing stuff.
Yeah, no, for
I'm
real, we're
leaving
going to. Yes.
Ohio,
I'm
where it's
around.
boring.
Yeah, we're going to. Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so
Jay.
much.
This was a blast. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Adios.
Adios. Bye. Oh my God. Bye.